Okay, hello everybody. This is the 10th Cash Health Teaching Workshop. And today we will be reviewing some of the workshops from previous weeks, and there'll be questions and answers and various explanations given based on some of the previous work that's already been delivered through this workshop series. So Dr. Elia Kostova is ready at the other end to direct the first part of the show, and then we'll speak with Mr. Kesh of the Kesh Foundation. Both of them are at the Spaceship Institute in Italy. So let's switch over to Elia and get right into the workshop here. Hello, Elia. Are you there?
Yeah, hello everybody from Spaceship Institute. We are here to follow you in your journey of the health teaching health workshop, what is the 10th one. And today the subject will be questions from what you have from all the workshop from the beginning up to now. But first, I just want to start with some explanations about our work in the health department. If you saw in the Keshe Foundation website, we are publishing all the list of the disease, what they are under research, and they are translated in so many languages. So if you are interested like a medical doctor or health organization or like a patient, you are able to go to Keshe Foundation main web page and then to go to the section application. And in the section application, you find out the form where you are able to contact with us and to explain like a patient what is your disease. And then if you want to see all the diseases, the list of the diseases, you are able to go in the section disease under research. There is the list of all up to the moment 41 disease. They also translated in all the languages in the Keshe Foundation forum. The sticked post from the beginning and also have a banners in Keshe Foundation forum. There we are posted also in all languages, all documents what we need you to send to us and to apply to be a part of the health project.
Did you want the
Is
diseases
visible?
open there? We have them open on the live stream now, the list of diseases. Did you want to actually have them
Yeah, you
open
are
or just,
there.
okay?
Yeah, you're on the list of the diseases. So you start with the required documents. That documents the patient supposed to have and then to apply for a project. Then we go to the disease open for research. This is all the list of 41 diseases which is under research on that moment. We just start with that list, but will be fulfill more afterwards. We just start with that 41 diseases. And then you have a price, what is the up to the moment. And just notice that the cancer and tumors new research is with the new price we mentioned it before, 5,000 euro. This is not the old price. And then you have documents of the World Peace Treaty, which is also translated in all languages. And you have document new cancer research, which explained what is the project now about the cancer and tumors. So this is the all new documents which most of you know. And the contact form and for applications is in the contact menu. You go again on the toolbar You found out the contact, then click on the contact, and the submenu is health appointments. You click on them, and it's open the contact form. So the patient's supposed to fill all the information there, and then directly that form comes to us. And the next procedure is just if we are not aware, because the information of the field messages, the, the place is so small and the patient is not able to attach big files like MRA scan or other documents which is from them diagnosis. So we answer to them with questions and asking for more information or for Skype talks. Then when we confirm the date and hour for the Skype talk, I send to the patient's schedule to remember them in what time and day they will have the Skype talk with health department of Keshe Foundation. Everything is written, and we have already made the catalog numbers and files, documents for follow-up, and a registration form for the foundation. They are ready. They are available also in the Health Center Malta. So it's my colleagues, doctors, which they are willing to help us for following the cases. They have registration form they have to fulfill, and then each follow-up state of the case, they have to register. So we make the registration form, the follow-up form, and all the registration is available for us and up to the moment for the Health Center Malta. And other things what I want to ask the medical doctors around the world, when they apply to us for and to delegate they want to work with us, please send it to us, your CV. It is curriculum vitae form. You are able to find out in the Cash Foundation forum. I just upload the link. Just fulfill that form, because we supposed to have all information for your professional life and experience. And then delegate for which one region you want to be a medical doctor for follow-up, all your contacts and data, because all of that contacts and data we're supposed to give back to the patients, and then to be able to contact with you in any time. So about the organization of the health department is that from my side. If someone have a questions about the organization up to the moment, if not, we'll follow to answering the questions.
Okay.
Let's start. Are there any questions you want to ask?
Is there any questions from?
There's a question in the chat here. Try to find it. Okay, so it's a question from Yvonne, and my question is connected with the works of the main reactors of the human body, which are the brains, the lung, and the heart. It was explained that these systems are always in balance. One of the workshops, Mr. Kesh mentioned that there is a small muscle that is not functioning around the heart area. And if this muscle is activated, it would create a field around the body or something. The question is, if there is such a muscle, how is this extra magnetic field created by activation of this muscle would affect the work of the main reactors of the body? Did you understand that, Mr. Kesh?
Yes. The main frame of what we call the brain, heart, lung
In the human body, in the structure of the human body, when you look at the whole, what I call emotional part control, there is always a, what I call a reserve source. In so many ways, when you have the heart, the emotional part of the brain, and the lung working, the whole structure follows one principle, and that is to create a balance field between the whole control system of the emotional and feeding system of the emotional part. The human body will not change in its operation if the emotional part falls out. So the physical part of the brain, due to misfunction of the any part of the physical part, being the heart or the lung, will stop functioning. But the reserve, the structure of the emotional part will never stop. And for it, there is a backup. There is a backup system in the body of the man made and held for this job. And it does not interfere with the operation of the rest of the body. As you have a startup for the heart, like you can punch it or whatever to bring it back to work, the emotional part, if runs out of its working energy, there is a parameter within the chest cavity which supports the, what you call like a memory bank card, the startup. The soul never leaves the body, and with it the emotional part. And the factor which is built in, that if the emotional part is removed or does not function, the physicality or the memory bank card comes in. We have seen this in the brain operations where the physical part of the brain for the physical part has been removed, and the brain can function without the physical part. But the body and the body cannot do without the emotional part. In the future, we'll come back to this point regarding this structure. It will not affect the body, and I was discussing this with Dr. Elia in the past week or so, where the emotional part I'm trying to choose my word very carefully, because this can throw a lot of things into open which the human race is not ready for. The time comes when the body is not, or the physicality or the emotional part is not happy with the status of the emotional part in respect to the soul. The memory bank, the operation of this hidden memory bank within the chest cavity allows the change of the soul. This I have explained in a number of private teachings. What it means is like when you switch your computer off, and when you switch it back on again, doesn't matter if you take the computer halfway around the world, all the data is in there and it comes up. And this is the same thing with the emotional part, and there is a parameter within the upper part of the chest cavity which carries this information in case of failure. But this touches the emotional part only and not the physical part. And that is to do when in time man reaches a point of maturity which the understanding of the emotional part does not feed the intellect of the physical part. And you ask your demand for a change, or you can request for a change in connection in respect to the soul. When you wake up, when you come to consciousness, or when you become aware of it, you see, you feel, you are within the strange bodies. In a way, you don't know the physicality, but all the memories and the informations are in it. This is very much in the direction of maturity, which physical maturity and intellectual maturity understands the limitation which the soul has created for their consciousness, and to evolve or what I call elevate the intellect plus emotional part that understands further of the creation. You put everything in this memory bank. It does not affect the operation of the body at all. It doesn't interfere with anything inside the body, but it's just there as a storage. When you want to change the level of your soul, in so many ways, this is achieved by the Prophet of God. And that's how it stays. In time now, people will understand as it comes, as they mature, as they can understand equal to the Prophet of the past, they will reuse this, what I call the change of soul. I was discussing this with Dr. Elia and other people in the past 2 or 3 years. Because you need that information to be there. If it's not there, what are you going to do? You receive a new, what I usually call it when I speak with Caroline, upgrade. But the upgrade does not fit the program because the body physicality is not there. So this apparatus, this very much like what we call the muscle tissue, that's the easiest we can say, is a memory bank for what emotionally you have experienced and you kept over your life, which connects you to the physicality. And this is needed, and in occasions or in time when you reach physical maturity, which you understand that your emotional maturity is not the same, and what I call sincerity, thou shalt not steal, in a way, you can request, what I call, you put your soul in a position that other souls are prepared to exchange or to add to your soul. And then you wake up and you see, you know everything about this body, you know all the memories, all the emotions of this body, but you're a foreigner to this body. You are new. It takes time to understand this, and then it's just like settling in a new car. And this memory card is kept away in the protection of the chest cavity, but does not affect the performance of the heart, the lung, the emotional part of the brain, or the brain. In book number 9, about the structure of the soul, I have explained this in very, very much detail. There are pieces of this paper is already written that the man in the future can understand. I have a lot of discussion about this with Caroline, and in how one can ask for what I call upgrade of the soul without stealing from the other souls. That by upgrading the soul, you upgrade the intelligence, you upgrade the emotion. And then you reach a new level of maturity. And this is reached very much by the Prophet of the past. And now there is a possibility and a chance for the ordinary man, what I call, to be able to achieve the same point. But it needs time. That that is understood, the work of the system is understood. I teach how is possible to a number of people who I trust that they cannot abuse the what you call the structure. But you cannot abuse, because if you go to a shop and there's no clothes fitting your body, you cannot wear it. You cannot put it on. So, but this structure internally in the chest of physical part of the body has been kept as a memory card chip, but does not interfere, does not interact, does not do anything to disbalance the work of the what I call a star formation. You have to understand the relationship between the emotional part of the brain and the work of the soul of the man. The emotional part is gravitational magnetic field, and the soul of the man is the electron outside. Connected, but can be replaced. And as I always say, all the electrons are not the same energy. That's why they change and they are different orbits. Then you can ask to bring your the intellect closer or higher, and that's where you reach this point. But this is strange enough.
Did we lose the audio again?
Yes, right after the words
Hello.
strange enough.
Yeah, strange enough. Okay.
Pardon?
We lost you right after the words strange enough.
I can't hear you, you're getting cut off.
We lost you right after the words you said strange enough, and everything cut off.
Where did we get cut off?
The word strange enough was the last we heard.
Ah, strange enough. Somehow we have problems on Skype every Friday. This is very unusual.
Okay, let's move on to the next question then. Yeah, how is cataract related to the emotion and the soul? Mr. Kesh said
Who says?
something about the intentions.
Do you want to answer that? I think that Elia can answer you that. It's your field of work. What is cataract connected to?
Yeah, hello from my side. So some of explanation for cataract is that it is changing of the strength of the magnetic field of the liquid in eye. So your just emotional part of the brain are not able to accept the reality, or you don't want to accept the reality. And actually it is because of changing of the strength of fields of the liquid inside of your eyes. And when you look your eyes under the microscope in ophthalmology microscope, is visible that the liquid is not clean, it is some kind cloudy, and also the lens change the strength, and it is everything is happened because the strength of the fields inside of the liquid part of the eyes, they just change it, so you're not able to accept the same strength field from environment, and everything is happened because your emotions are not able to accept the reality. You want to see something, what you want to see, but that is not what is really exist. It's like you close your eyes to not face the reality, what is really are. That is one of explanations of cataract. Can you hear us?
Yeah, so you're saying that it's the emotional side that's causing the cataracts to appear? Due
Yeah,
to
because
change in the
actually,
macro-
if you remember embryology of the brain, when we spoke about how develop during the embryology state our brain and the state of the development, and how where it's appeared the mesencephalon and thalamus, actually on site it's appear retina. This is the first seeds of retina, so they are in one line, and retina, and then from that part is organized all the development and all the structure of the eyes is actually part of our thalamus, of our emotional part directly. Do you understand? It's like your arm is part of your body. Is that in some sense retina and eyes is part, outer part of your emotional part, just outside part. But this is actually your connection with your thalamus. With eyes, you are able to perceive the reality, to accept the reality, and to transform the fields directly to thalamus. And if that receptor part, information part, is not able to accept the reality in a real state, it is because your emotional part of the brain happen something wrong, or reach some state of the disease, or reach some kind of understanding, or you don't want to see something, is like your desire, you wish. So the perception of the reality and organ who accept the reality is your eyes. So the magraph strength of the fuse just changed it. Is because how Mr. Kesh said, you are able to see, to touch, to feel whatever fields, what they are close, or like your fields. If they are so far away from the, how is it in English, from the strength of your fields, you are not able to recognize either. So in that sense, if you change the strength of the field, you see what it is close to that field, or slightly similar, but not different completely. Do you understand?
Thank you, Elia. That seemed clear. There's another question from Vitor about what makes glaucoma to exist in one's body. That's, I believe, a pressure. A glaucoma. Glaucoma? I think it's a pressure on the eyeball, isn't it?
What makes glaucoma?
Glaucoma, yes.
This is that. Glaucoma is this changing of the how is the lens, and visibility through lens starts to be different. It's not that clean. Exchange.
Would that be
glaucoma or cataract?
Well, it's in this.
Glaucoma is the pressure inside of the eyes. It is changing the pressure inside of the eyes. So many diseases can be cause of glaucoma, and glaucoma in itself may cause many diseases. It is different. You cannot say only one cause for a glaucoma. Actually, it is can be result and can be cause.
Would it be a similar answer as the cataract answer for at least part of it?
Glaucoma is increasing of pressure inside of eyes. It is like you increase the pressure and the volume of the spinal liquid. Damage the retina. Is the retina just uplift of the place and change the.
Glaucoma, you say it's the pressure of the eye.
Yeah, pressure liquid goes bigger, like a volume, and press the retina, because retina is on the top, and pressing the retina. So you change the here, so you are not able to see. It's like, it's like under the water. and they feel pain because it's directly compression of the nervus opticus. And
it changes anything in the colors you see?
the colors, because retina is contained of different kind of cells with colors inside. Yeah, because it is the suppression, and then retina just unstick. How is in English when you lifts from place, and actually it is not working. Place is not accepting the light and transform for.
And we seem to have lost the audio once again with the Spaceship Institute. So just retry there. Bear with us for a minute once again.
Dr. Elliot tried to explain the glaucoma, but you got to go back into what we explained in respect to the thymus and the working of the thymus in how and what material are created in the eyeball, even as the liquid that allows you to see. The glaucoma, we've done a lot of research into this from the Keshe Foundation point of view in the health side, and in times you have to go back to find out how the salinity and the materials within the liquid of the eye have changed. The expansion of the liquid in the eye just does not happen on its own. It needs heating, needs 2 or 3 dimension extra to be added to. One comes directly from the magnetic gravitational field of the emotional part of the brain, which in fact, by the time it reaches the water of the eye, the liquid in the eye, it is at the level that it can increase its volume as a matter or increase the plasma of it as a gans. The other position and the other way which happens is that the thymus, in conjunction with parotid gland, convert the matter from one state to another. So what comes out is like you put a metal into the water and the heating through the energy which comes in starts up and the volume increases. And that creates the pressure. Then it changes the vision and the other aspects of it. We have done a lot of work in this aspect trying to explain it, and it's the final point is how a liquid expands. But in fact, the expansion of the liquid in the eyeball comes from the increase in the volume or change of the matter from one to a higher order. It's not a heating that you create pressure due to increase in the volume of the liquid in the water. There is a lot of research going on, especially with the space technology, which is in the present space technology in propulsion. Eye is considered as one of the weakest points in the whole link of the humanity in the space. Because we, as I explained, we receive radiations, and this radiation releases energies which gets absorbed directly into the liquid of the water of the eye, and then because now the energy is transferred in a matter level, it gets absorbed by the brain.
Is that what astronauts see as flashes of light in their eyes?
Yeah, that's why the flash of the eye is when the energy slows down enough to become a photon level. But this energy which continuously comes into the eye and it gets converted into what I call plasmatic information for the brain to understand. This energy, if it's achieved or arrives at too high a level, then it's dispersed back into the brain and leads to a lot of problems with the expansion or increase of the plasmatic magnetic field. of entities inside the body. You got to always be aware, separate the matter condition than the gans condition, and then you see how the things happen. In the body of a man, water liquid, as water we drink as a matter does not exist. Due to gravitational magnetic field, all the interactions are magnetic gravitational field dependent as a gans of the matter. And these affect very much the light, the amount of energy as a light plasmatic magnetic field passing through the eye. Because of the closeness of the eyeballs to the emotional part, the field they release, which never goes through the neural system, affects the emotion. The effect on the emotion through light system, through the eyeball, is far beyond man has ever understood up to now. And they will not understand till they realize that the information through the eye, through the plasmatic magnetic field which comes through the liquid of the eye, is directly interacts and works with the emotional part of the man. That's why if you look more or less, they sit at the more or less at the right level. On the other hand, there is a structure within the brain or within the skull of the man. Make sure the right information, the
I apologize for the broken workshop today. We're having trouble with the connection once again from the Spaceship Institute.
Okay. What's the next question?
Okay, there is a question from Ivan who says, why are there different blood types in the body, and is the blood type dependent on what kind of food we should eat? I think he means what kind of...
Blood type, as we know, comes by the evolution of the man and according to the environment he's lived. I think this has to done O and A and B and AB and different versions of it, which is very dependent on how we evolved from the time where we started, the food we consumed, and in what kind of life we lived. There is a process I know because they call it eat as your blood type. So because we evolved and in the evolution we had access to certain food, and we are the strength of the red blood cells adjusted to be able to accept that kind of food. O is the original, and then the rest comes by the conversion and application of the food. I think there's about 15 different type of blood types. But within it, about 15 different types.
Ivan does go on to say in the rest of the question, in other words, are people with different blood types absorbing the energy of the same food in different ways?
Yes, they do.
Okay.
They do. They do. Because it goes back again to the digestion system and how what I call, you call it enzymes, and the liquid of the stomach recognizes, absorbs. I always say the food we eat and the information or energy which is absorbed from it is exactly like the vision. I look at the picture, to me is orangish red, and to other one is reddish orange. We are both looking at the same picture. So we take from according to what our density of body is, or the liquid of our eyes or the body is, that we can take from it. I can take calcium from a food, and you take a sodium from the same food. This is decided by more or less by parathyroid gland. Parathyroid gland decides what conversion rate where is needed, and it needs to be done. The work of the parathyroid glands is now, I keep on saying, is not fully understood. Once fully understood, the work of I think in the whole of Western Europe, I think there are only 3 doctors who are getting to know the work of the parathyroid glands in detail, in approximately trying to explore it. One of them is in Cambridge. So a lot of doctors talk about it, but they don't understand it. It's just there. So they control what you absorb, and then what you absorb from the food decides what goes in your lymph, and then it decides what becomes through the lymph, which goes through your bone, that becomes the blood, that then you become part of your blood, red cell blood, and it goes in your body. So when you say what has the blood type to do with the food, because what you eat becomes the lymph becomes, grows the bone marrow, becomes your own blood. So it has to reflect where it came, the origin of it. So yes, what you eat, what you digest, and the type of food and the way your bone marrow converts and your bone creates the immune system and red blood cells, dictated by the food, the area you're in, and then we call it different type of blood. All the O's haven't disappeared, they're still here and they regenerate. And because they can absorb full spectrum of the of food which was available to man and is available to man. In so many ways, the more we became specialized in food digestion, we have changed the structure of the limbs have changed, and in turn the lymph changing, the red blood cells which are created by the lymph have changed. You got to, and I keep on explaining this, but somehow misses the whole point. Bits are not created out of your body out of nowhere. Your bone doesn't just happen to create blood or T cells or B cells. These are part of what you've eaten, what you've put in, and what you get out to control in what you eat. So when you say if the blood type is connected to the food, of course, because it's the food which you've eaten, which is energy, has become a lymph, and the lymph has become your blood. I was talking to our Chinese Keshe Foundation colleagues today lunchtime. We are going into production in China, and they are running a test, and he said to me, our system is just literally bleeding, just red material is coming out of it, we're just collecting buckets. And I said and he said, do you know something which is strange? The thing has life, it just looks like living. I said, of course, what do you expect? We've seen this here in the lab in Keshe Foundation, but at that time, the knowledge seekers were too not mature to understand it. But too young, as Elia says. Yeah, you can't blame them. They never grow up. They always like to play. But the Chinese, because we are building different systems with the Keshe Foundation support there, and the guy tells me it's just literally us, just dripping, like dripping blood. I said, look. And he said it only comes from the connections, from the junctions. I said the junctions, those are metal, iron, and then immediately at that point, because you're trying to create a gas, you're creating a fat, or what we call amino acid on the top, and this automatically, the iron oxide touches the amino acid, which is on the layer, it becomes fat. So what he said, I can't see any fat layer on the top. I said, of course. Because whatever fat layer is produced around the plate, immediately due to the iron which is coming in as oxidation, converts it to like a blood. You're literally creating hemoglobin. And he said it's alive, it just like moves. So we've seen this here when I explained to the knowledge seekers months ago. Your blood is according to what you make it available to it to become. And it doesn't come out of air. Another name for lymph, when it goes to your bone structure and adds to itself certain amount of iron, becomes blood. So you call it the blood or you call it lymph with iron. It's all the same. There's no difference. So your food you eat, and then this changes how what it goes as a blood in what you've eaten, affects the energy which it carries to your brain, to the emotional side. And this goes back, we were talking about why the difference between the Indians and the Pakistanis, who eats more blood animal, and how they change their behavior. Then you understand how you still stay A or B, but your cell carries different amount of information energy in a plasmatic form. Then the brain reacts to it because it receives too much information and it has to digest. Emotional part has to digest a lot of suffering which the physical part brings it. And it has to siphon this because the soul does not accept it. And this is why we see what we call aggression and what we call anger and all that. Because what comes to emotional part and cannot be converted and transferred to the soul, which is always in balance, it only takes what it needs, it has to be assumed internally, it has to be stored internally. You store the physical entities in your liver. Liver is your deposit bank. Emotional part has to handle the material, the energies which come through the lymph and through the behavior. If you look at the structure of the thalamus of the very heavy criminals and very gentle people, you see totally different structure. When you look at the MRIs, if you're doctors and look at the area of the thalamus, you see it. Some people who have MS and they push themselves to the limitation of literally reusing their own tissue and it creates a lot of pain, you find out when you look at their MRI, the thalamus has a different structure. So now you understand how the process goes on. You eat the food, and in the amount of energy the food you've eaten which changes into a gans, transfers its energy across the wall of the stomach to the lymph, and this amount of energy has to convert through the structure of the bone to blood. And then you say the blood comes from bone marrow, as when we spoke about the bone structure. Then this blood has a different strength with a man who is vegetarian or the man who is an animal eater. But in essence, still carries the original information of what the blood was. As you divert and diverse from into roots and into what you call like seeds, you continuously change and change and change. And we see in the, as far as I can remember, there are actually 15 type of bloods, O, A, B, and AB. These are the top of the rank, but there are other divisions into it as well. So yes, what you eat decides your blood type, because your blood is made of your own lymphs, which is what you ate. Next question.
The question is how we are able to clean the body, the liver.
Oh, yeah. This, when we come to liver, we discuss this. The liver is a huge bank, and cleaning it out is very difficult.
Okay.
It's easier than cleaning the central reserve bank than the liver.
So blood type depends on the food then?
Of course. I think we got there, or you lost our voice. Yeah, but you
It's
look
not.
at,
You can't change your
you look
blood
at
type, though,
this.
right? You can't change your blood type by changing food.
No, no,
Right.
because there is something. Go back a step further back. The blood type is created in the bone, and the bone structure decides the type of the blood according to what you've eaten. The soft part, the what they call this, as Elia like to say, is the spongy part of the bone. This spongy part is nanomaterial layer. It literally is like what you separate the gans from the copper plates.
Yeah. Okay.
So your nano layers decide in what fields you release and how the what do you call the gans of blood stays. So
So in a way, Mr. Kesh, people should be known by their bone types instead of their blood types. It's more basic.
yes, your
It's more
bone
original.
structure, your bone nanolayers of your bone structure decides, and it's the way it is. Look at a lot of things in the structure of the man, and then you understand a lot how the body has adapted itself. If you look at the what happened, you made enough noise. Who did you shoot in there? Board just went up. Yeah, no problem. So somehow the earth moves when Armand walks around. So a board fell. What happens is that if you look at the nations or cultures which the farming of certain what do you call it, agricultural products are cultivated and how they are harvested changes the structure of the physical structure of the man to fit that, because he finds the shortest way to do. And according to that, you find that the blood changes to accommodate that use of the body for that purpose. I studied this in a lot of detail in Belgium when we lived there. You find...
Before we continue, when you say the blood changes, you don't mean the blood type changes, but the blood itself changes.
Yes,
Right.
yes.
Okay, just to be clear.
The blood type, yeah, we can ask Dr. Elliot to tell us what is the difference between O and A and B. What is the difference? How do you call it the A?
You know, they ask
They think
we are able to change our blood type.
in over generations, yes. Over generations, yes. That's how we changed, yes. If that's the short answer.
Thank you.
But the thing is, the way you work, where you live, the way you eat and work to live dictates the blood change more than anything else. The blood change, if you live in China with all the pollution and you're in the office work, never changes if you live in New York. Somehow, through the structure of the working the feed, changes the structure of the blood. Which means the people who harvest the food and cultivate the food, they establish the change of the blood. Then you have to go back to the emotion and how they put and what they see as their survival. And I've studied this in detail in Belgium regarding what you call people who make what you call linen. People who work in the fields harvesting linens over generations, they have a specific, very much like what we call Baraban blood structure. Very heavy at the hip, short legs, short upper legs, because of the way they have to carry, harvest and grow this material. And it goes right through the blood, all the sisters, and it's mainly women who carry this, not the men. Ankles are about 2 or 3 times the normal. because they have to stand the short carrying the weights the way it is, what has been for them. And then they change it because then they use the seed of it for different purposes for food as well. The what you wear as a linen shirt has seeds which is consumed as food. They make bread with it. They make all kinds of things with it. So that in turn, there is a connection in the harvest. The people who collect seed and sow the harvest and a change of blood. Now you understand why I discussed this. Next question.
Is the common proportion in magraphuse in human body which determine the human bone mass creation? Is there some part of the body which particularly conduct this process of food distribution?
Sounds like we lost the SSI again. And that actually is a really good point, Amrock, is that the defense system that Mr. Kesh has put up around the house could be interfering with the signal.
Well, there's an interesting little discussion in itself. And he did claim that it was to be an effective defense system for electromagnetic interference and so on.
But we've been taught this from the very beginning. The first public workshop that we ever did, he told us that the fields, if you're using a remote control car, remote control controller, it won't be able to penetrate the fields if the field is strong enough.
Right.
So
we were concerned. I was concerned with the controls for my reactor, which are remote control car controls. That the indicator that the system was working is if the controls stopped working. So that would not be a good system control to have. That when your reactor starts working, your controls stop working.
However,
it is a good indicator.
If you have a gravitational magnetic field base that's the same as the inside of the gravitational magnetic field that you're using, so basically you have an antenna that's tuned to the same maggrav field that you're creating, you shouldn't have a problem.
And communications might work within the defense system, but not getting in and out of it. They might have to use the instant communication system that Mr. Kesh has been hinting at lately. And I think it's time for some kind of implementation of that instantaneous communication system. I think we need to start...
I started a long time ago, Rick. I'm still working.
Yeah, I mean... we need to work with it with Mr. Kesh to get a more practical application of real-time communications so that we can actually, at some point, perhaps bypass the ordinary systems, no matter where we are in the universe.
Exactly. And that's to do with the maggrav field that you create with your GANs, which is... Okay, so we can all relate this back to health. You got to remember, even though we're talking in terms of reactors, we can relate this back to health because the maggrav field of ourselves, we can also influence that with the environment that we created within ourselves. And being able to communicate between GANs... Oh, my recording just stopped. Okay, Mr. Kesh tried calling me. Can you try adding Mr. Kesh again?
Adding Elia and Mayran, I'll try both.
You just tried calling me, so I didn't see it. Yeah, so we can all relate this back into ourselves. Says he's busy. He's probably leaving me a message.
Was that ourselves or ourselves?
Well, ourselves are ourselves, aren't they? So making what I'm saying is making the instant communication with the GANs is the same as making the instant communication with ourselves. So once we find the answers that we're looking for to be able to communicate with the GANs, we should be able to transpose that into communicating with ourselves. Of course, I'm not talking about sending a internet signal through ourselves for somebody else. I'm talking about communication, which is, of course, telepathy.
Mm-hmm.
That'd be a good question, but we don't have time for it, is the telepathy aspect, but I don't think you would go into that at that point.
Right. Yep. That's a good one for a topic for a whole health workshop, perhaps. Okay, back on live stream, and we're just going to finish off the 10th health teaching workshop with Mr. Kesh, and he wanted to add something. We had some bad connection before, now we can hear, so he wanted to add something to the end, and we'll connect with him now.
Yes, what I was explaining before recording is that due to the research and developments we've done over years in different aspects of technology in respect to the health, emotional and psychological and physical application of the technology, this was we were going to announce today, but with all the complications and the problems with the lines, we got disconnected. And that is that within the Keshe Foundation, with the trials we've done, we have enough knowledge to be able to reverse or to allow people who are addicted to drugs like cocaine or whatever it could be, or hashish and that kind of thing, to stop their addiction. And the way it's done, as we see it and in our trials, there are no withdrawals with this procedure. People naturally just come off it. And we've seen this with the people naturally who've been in bed paralyzed for years, just walk off the bed. The process reaches the psychological part of the brain, which refuses to accept the drugs in the physical part. The volunteers who have been through this process, after 2 or 3 weeks, they say they don't want even to touch it because it tastes horrible. They can't even stand the material anymore. So we were discussing it yesterday with Dr. Elia and Armin was so excited, says this has to go out. We have so many young people in America who are dying, and there is a new thing called that their skin comes off and literally flesh falls off. It's called crocodile or something, and he wants it to be put out as a matter of urgency, that there is such a possibility available from the Keshe Foundation. And we have put on a specific, we looked at it, everything else. If the people who want to try this procedure with the Keshe Foundation, if you're drug addicts or cocaine or heroin addicts, the foundation has put a value or research value at a donation of €5,000, which is one of the lowest ever foundation has for. Anything we do which we want to make it commonly be applicable, we bring it to this low level that it can be done. So if you want to try and add to our knowledge, as of today, we accept, if you got addiction, to be tested and to be brought up to see if we can help you out of the situation. From what we've seen from the trials, there is no withdrawal symptoms because body just naturally, it's like it never had addiction to it. And this is one of the things which has surprised us in our trials. On the other hand, we have developed a new cycle of the systems that some of the diseases which are on the list of the 41 will be brought down to 5,000 value. More or less all of them will be brought down to 5,000 within the coming weeks and days. as we are developing new, simpler technologies application, and as the health centers and the development of the commercialization is rapidly growing. So as we brought the cancer to 5,000, now the kit for the drug addiction will be the same. The kit for all sorts of diseases will be brought down case by case. We're going to look, and when you make your application, you have to put in your application that's what the disease is, and if you like to be considered for the 5,000 project. This is worth a 5,000 donation. Please, if you approach us, make life easier for yourself and for us. When you fill in the applications, when you make a request, make sure the financial means for you is there to carry out the process. Do not come to us and then say, I cannot donate, can you give it to me free? The decision has passed the foundation. We decide who and where and what, and we have enough people online queue to receive the systems in different parameters by donation or whatever. So if you are interested in any of the 40 lists, you can put on it you would like to be considered for 5,000 projects, which is a 5,000 euro donation. And then we respond to you if we are looking, or we will consider that position depending on what and how we have to do it. But the addiction kit, what we call it as of today, is it will be considered for anyone with addiction at 5,000 euro, which is less than what they spend most probably in a month or two in their addiction.
And to clarify, Mr. Kess, that wouldn't mean that someone would have to visit Malta or Italy or anything. That would be something that would be they'd be able to be used at home. Is that true?
Yes, all our systems are. Nobody needs to travel anymore. The time of traveling to see is finished. We make a Skype call if we need to, and then we monitor. We have no problem in that respect. You don't need to travel anywhere to be able to benefit by the knowledge of the foundation. We ship materials all over the world now. We are literally working in all 5 continents. Pardon?
Sorry. We should be able to also do these things once we have the understanding of how to do this medically. And this will also be able to be done with the people that have the CO2 kits as well. Is that right?
No, it's totally different. The addiction kit is totally different. The addiction kit is a two-piece part, and it has to be done through what we call it, through the breathing and water system. CO2 is not the answer to everything. CO2 is a channel for energy and for the space reactors. Part of the CO2 is used for Ebola because of the energy virus dependent section of it. We're opening the more and more next week when we have our Chinese group here for the manufacturing. We will introduce what we call the healing pads at $120 or 120 euro that you can apply it anywhere you have a pain muscle, joint muscle. You apply it for maybe 2-3 days and it can eradicate permanently most of the pain or all of the pain. And Dr. Elia has used it herself, and Arman has used it here when he's been in that kind of condition. And they use just once use, it changes everything. We will release the Cup of Life in the coming week as a set in the coming days once we finish in China. China will become the center of the production, and we see this as a pathway for the foundation's work for showing the power of the technology. It's not just what has been there. We think we have found a very good partners for the foundation's manufacturing, and they work on the same ethos as we do on an open basis. And so it will help quite a lot of everyone. But the addiction kit, if you're addicted, if you've got a problem with addiction, just send an email to health at Keshe Foundation under the contact and put in their addiction title, the form will be sent to you. Just fill in the form, put your blood test, and sign the documents which are sent to you, make a donation, and within days we'll release the units. There is something which is on the wing. Hopefully, once it's done here, completed, what do you call it? The star formation kits will be offered to China. That people would like to do test at home with this, the formation, a complete kit you can buy from the foundation. It'll be most probably the size of a football. Then we'll see what happens. There's a lot of development now. We're coming out of the closet in retail, in what do you call it, commercializing, and we'll see where we go. But the health, by the moment, is a priority for us in so many ways, and we gone back into the same structures we had in Belgium for about 2-3 years. That we will run health appointments on Tuesdays from 12 to 4 o'clock. And then if need be, we increase it to 2-3 times a week. So the cases we accept will be on the Skype, that we can see what we accept and what it is. We're going back to the structured system as we used to be, and we are considering a lot of different options. But the whole situation will change in the next 2 weeks, hopefully, if the peace treaty is signed between Iran and 5+1. And as we've seen, the move is on the other side, that they are prepared to move. And you've got to realize the American move is, even though it looks like it's just on the surface, is that the foundation and the technology does not go back and get buried in China or in Japan. And the way it looks, the Chinese and Japanese are very much active around this, as you've seen in the agriculture, but in Chinese section. These are officers of government who are doing the agricultural test. It's not somebody as a hobby. And this is how it is, and that's how it works.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Kesh. Is there anything else you'd like to add at this point?
Well, really, we're just researching, and development is done, and at the moment, every day more boxes are leaving for the, what do you call it? For the CO2.
CO2?
Yeah, the CO2 kits are very much on the way.
Yeah, that's good news, and people are reporting in already that they've received the kits. So,
Are they happy with it?
Pardon me. Say again. Sorry.
Are they happy with what they received? Have you got any feedback?
Yes, there was
Yes,
in the Keshe Foundation Facebook, and it was an excitement. Yes, it was definitely an excitement.
Yep.
Actually, we do things as well by the look of it, huh?
That's right. It's good to have a product like that to showcase.
We need to be able to do things, and now we have slowly getting the freedom to do what we are supposed to do.
So just for the live stream people as well, the CO2 kit video is available on the Keshe Foundation YouTube site. It will be available on the banners on the main site and the forums probably today or tomorrow.
There's a lot of work for Armand and Marco to get this thing done. I have to explain something to you. We are in a position that with what happened with the poisoning of me and Caroline, now there are 3 more people being poisoned who's been here. So the situation can become in an open case internationally, because these are not Italians. So please keep the 2 things about what's happening to us and what's happening to the foundation totally separate, because in the long run they are connected, but in a way they are separate. So we have to keep it that way.
And there is a person in the live stream that also said they have received their kit and it looks great.
very much. All the best. We're trying to put as much as we can out. These are orders in hundreds. This is not orders in a few. And the Italians could not do it, so it's getting done here. We try to meet the demand within the next 2 weeks. We should be completing in numbers, which is coming through. It's amazing how much is coming through, how people are responding to this.
Well, everybody wants to try to save the planet, and they've been taught that the CO2 is what's causing the problem. So let's mitigate the problem that they think is causing the problem.
It's amazing even the Prime Minister has ordered it. This was shocked us here. The order which has come from the Prime, and he's very open. He's put his exactly where it is and who he is. And he's one of the top, what do you call it, of the top 10 nations in the world. So he's openly, in a way, must be supporting the foundation's work. We'll see what happens and where we're going to go. We call it a day because we have a long way to go yet.
Thank you once again, Mr. Kesh, very much, and thanks for that addition at the end there. That was great. That will help round out the workshop.
If you're addicted or you know people who are addicted, we would like to develop this technology to further spot. And addiction apparently is one of the biggest problems. And the problem is what we've seen, people who come off this addiction with the system, they never touch again because now we have 4 years of records. So they don't even have the, what do you call it, the crave to go back to it by the look of it.
You can give your addiction to science.
Actually, Mr. Kesh, I just thought about this, but does the addiction include gambling?
Yes. Sex, great. Gambling, what do you call it? Heroin. There's different ways of alcohol.
Chocolate.
Woo! Belgium's, yes.
Belgian chocolate. You can help people get off of Belgian chocolate.
No. Not wanting to touch chocolate again would be very bad.
That's a very good addiction. We'll leave it as that, and we speak on Tuesday. Thank you very much for all your work. I appreciate it. Thank you too. Thank you. Bye-bye. Bye-bye.
Okay. And so ends the second part of the 10th Health Teaching Workshop. Thanks, everybody. Bye-bye.
Let's start. Are there any questions you want to ask?
Is there any questions from...
question in the chat here. Try to find it. Okay, so it's a question from Yvonne, and my question is connected with the works of the main reactors of the human body, which are the brains, the lung, and the heart. It was explained that these systems are always in balance. One of the workshops, Mr. Kesh mentioned that there is a small muscle that is not functioning around the heart area. And if this muscle is activated, it would create a field around the body or something. The question is, if there is such a muscle, how is this extra magnetic field created by activation of this muscle would affect the work of the main reactors of the body? Did you understand that, Mr. Kesh?
Yes. The main frame of what we call the brain, heart, lung.
In the human body, in the structure of the human body, when you look at the whole, what I call emotional part control, there is always what I call a reserve source. In so many ways, when you have the heart, the emotional part of the brain, and the lung working, the whole structure follows one principle, and that is to create a balance field between the whole control system of the emotional and feeding system of the emotional part. The human body will not change in its operation if the emotional part falls out. So the physical part of the brain, due to misfunction of the any part of the physical part, being the heart or the lung, will stop functioning. But the reserve, the structure of the emotional part will never stop. And for it, there is a backup. There is a backup system in the body of the man made and held for this job. And it does not interfere with the operation of the rest of the body. As you have a startup for the heart,
Okay, hello everybody. This is the 10th Keshe Health Teaching Workshop. And today we will be reviewing some of the workshops from previous weeks, and there'll be questions and answers and various explanations given based on some of the previous work that's already been delivered through this workshop series. So Dr. Elia Kostova is ready at the other end to direct the first part of the show, and then we'll speak with Mr. Keshe of the Keshe Foundation. Both of them are at the Spaceship Institute in Italy. So let's switch over to Elia and get right into the workshop here. Hello, Elia. Are you there?
Yeah, hello everybody from Spaceship Institute. We are here to follow you in your journey of the health teaching health workshop, what is the 10th one. And today the subject will be questions from what you have from all the workshop from the beginning up to now. But first, I just want to start with some explanations about our work in the health department. If you saw in the Keshe Foundation website, we are publishing all the list of the disease, what they are under research, and they are translated in so many languages. So if you are interested like a medical doctor or health organization or like a patient, you are able to go to Keshe Foundation main web page and then to go to the section application. And in the section application, you find out the form where you are able to contact with us and to explain like a patient what is your disease. And then if you want to see all the diseases, the list of the diseases, you are able to go in the section disease under research. There is the list of all up to the moment 41 disease. They also translated in all the languages in the Keshe Foundation forum. The sticked post from the beginning can also have a banners in Keshe Foundation forum.
like you can punch it or whatever to bring it back to work. The emotional part, if runs out of its working energy, there is a parameter within the chest cavity which supports the what you call like a memory bank card startup. The soul never leaves the body, and with it the emotional part. And the factor which is built in, that if the emotional part is removed or does not function, the physicality or the memory bank card comes in. We have seen this in the brain operations where the physical part of the brain for the physical part has been removed, and the brain can function without the physical part. But the body and the body cannot do without the emotional part. In the future, we'll come back to this point regarding this structure. It will not affect the body, and I was discussing this with Dr. Elia in the past week or so, where the emotional part I'm trying to choose my word very carefully, because this can throw a lot of things into open which the human race is not ready for. The time comes when the body is not, or the physicality or the emotional part is not happy with the status of the emotional part in respect to the soul. The memory bank, the operation of this hidden memory bank within the chest cavity allows the change of the soul. This I have explained in a number of private teachings. What it means is like when you switch your computer off, and when you switch it back on again, doesn't matter if you take the computer halfway around the world, all the data is in there and it comes up. And this is the same thing with the emotional part, and there is a parameter within the upper part of the chest cavity which carries this information in case of failure.
Them diagnosis, so we answer to them with questions and asking for more information or for Skype talks. Then when we confirm the date and hour for the Skype talk, I send to the patient's schedule to remember them in what time and day they will have the Skype talk with health department of Keshe Foundation. Everything is written, and we have already made the catalog numbers and files, documents for follow-up, and a registration form for the foundation. They are ready. They are available also in the Health Center Malta. So it's mean my colleagues, doctors, which they are willing to help us for following the cases. They have registration form they have to fulfill, and then each follow-up state of the case, they have to register. So we make the registration form, the follow-up form, and all the registration is available for us and up to the moment for the Health Center Malta. And other things what I want to ask the medical doctors around the world, when they apply to us for and to delegate they want to work with us, please send it to us, your CV. It is curriculum vitae form. You are able to find out in the Keshe Foundation forum. I just upload the link. Just fulfill that form, because we supposed to have all information for your professional life and experience. And then delegate for which one region you want to be a medical doctor for follow-up, all your contacts and data, because all of that contacts and data we're supposed to give back to the patients, and then to be able to contact with you in any time. So about the organization of the health department is that from my side. If someone have a questions about the organization up to the moment, if not, we'll follow to answering the questions.
Okay.
There we have posted also in all languages, all documents what we need you to send to us and to apply to be a part of the health project.
Did you want the
Is
diseases
visible?
open there? We have them open on the live stream now, the list of diseases. Did you want to actually have them
Yeah,
open
you're
or just
there.
okay?
Yeah, you're on the list of the diseases. So you start with the required documents. That documents the patient supposed to have and then to apply for a project. Then we go to the disease open for research. This is all the list of 41 diseases which is under research on that moment. We just start with that list, but will be fulfill more afterwards. We just start with that 41 diseases. And then you have a price, what is the up to the moment. And just notice that the cancer and tumors, new research is with the new price we mentioned it before, 5,000 euro. This is not the old price. And then you have documents of the World Peace Treaty, which is also translated in all languages. And you have document new cancer research, which explains what is the project now about the cancer and tumors. So this is the all new documents which most of you know. And the contact form and for applications is in the contact menu. You go again on the toolbar, you found out the contact, then click on the contact and the submenu is health appointments. You click on them and it's open the contact form. So the patient is supposed to fill all the information there and then directly that form comes to us. And the next procedure is just if we are not aware because the information of the field messages, the place is so small and the patient is not able to attach big files like MRA, scan or other documents which is for